On this one, what personal role would you like to contribute to the school district's progression forward, and where might you see that progression forward leading to?
Sorry, I didn't know someone else was going to be reading my handwriting. It's
You're doing great. No, it's easy to read.
Can I just
You can look at it, absolutely.
It's distracting. Okay. The school district's progression forward is, as everyone here feels right now, seems like it's a little bit in jeopardy. We've been playing a game of limbo back and forth, and declining student population, and fear that people are going to continue to leave the districts, students, parents, teachers alike. So right now, to talk about the progression forward seems a little difficult. That said, in order to progress, I believe that whenever there's a recession of any kind, and not that we're in an economic recession, but I would say our school is a little bit in a recession right now. We're a little damaged goods. And everybody here, included with the masses of the town, are fearing for our future. So I think my opinion in order to progress is we need to think about how we can grow, where our town sits now with regard to others like it, not necessarily with the Amhersts or the Williamsvilles or the Clarences of the world, but more along the lines of the Edens or the Franklinvilles or the schools that are more our size. What are they doing? Are they being successful? Are they not? What do we contribute to that movement? Can our school size grow if we do X, Y, Z? Do we need more businesses? How do we get more young families here? What brings people to Holland that makes it special? All of us have input on that. The people that have lived here for 5 years or the people that have lived here for 50 probably have similar visions of that, and some different. I think that in order for me to be part of a role where we move forward, there need to be more committees like this facilities planning committee that we have. I think you have such a strong population of people that are interested in the everyday, which is we should thank ourselves for. Get more people involved, grow committees, make them do a lot of brainstorming. Brainstorming is what's going to save our schools, our district, our town. Our town is centered around our schools, and I think everyone here would agree with that. It's the biggest business in town, and we want it to continue to be that. We don't want to see it keep diminishing it. We want it to grow. So my role in that would have to be to suggest to our board, in whatever way we can, to create more committees to see what businesses we can bring here, to talk with town officials, the supervisor, the groups, other groups within the town, and get them involved in helping to work together as opposed to working from two different sides at the same point. I think that the key here is that everyone here is interested in fixing, saving, and preserving what we know to be wonderful. I mean, with the Tulip Festival this past weekend, we had the very first Tulip Festival queen from 1956 here. And now we're in 2015. That's impressive all by itself. And to think that 5 years, 7 years down the road, we might not be, that scares me more than a little bit. It might not affect me on a day-to-day basis, or Jerry either, for whatever reason, but I'm still not okay with it. So that's kind of where I sit.
As far as the personal role is concerned, I think at the outset, I would again say I would be one of 7 board members. I have no idea how this would shake out in the event that I was the successful candidate. By myself, I can do very little. You can make suggestions, but it seems every election, give or take, there's a new flip of 4-3 one way or 4-3 the other way. I have no idea what's going to happen after the next election, but my personal role would be to meet with other board members to see if we can develop some sort of consistency in how we approach problems. I don't know necessarily how receptive people would be. I assume everyone who's on the board is on the board for the same reasons I am. They're seeking to help the district and seeking to be an intermediary between parents and teachers and administrators. So I think my first role would be to try to develop a consensus of what we're going to do, not next week or next month or next year, but going forward. So next year, when there's another board member coming up, or 2 years from now, we're not reinventing the whole process again. That would be my first idea. The second idea is, we've all heard all kinds of things, and I know that's another question about reconfiguration, that the buildings aren't being used to their fullest capacity. I would think there are programs that we could develop here that would want or warrant people coming here. I know through my business associations with Family Court, they develop programs that, for example, take people who aren't allowed to visit their children. They have a location, it's supervised visitation. You could put programs here that would draw from northern Cattaraugus County and southern Erie County and perhaps even Wyoming County to make use of, let's say that we moved to the middle school and the elementary school was then vacant. I think that when the school district made its decision to affiliate its football program with East Aurora, that made enormous sense. There were lots of people in town who wanted their children to play football. That made sense. The cost was sometimes prohibitive to other people. I think that having shared services and maybe shared administrators in some sense without giving up your autonomy is something that would make sense, or at the very least could be looked into. I don't know that we need all of the administrators that we have, and I do think that I would be able to suggest to the board majority or create a board majority that would look into further implementation of whichever school we aren't going to use, and I would hope that is the elementary school. I would suggest that personally, all of us here don't want the school district to be merged. I don't know how much of a danger that is, but I think that we need to be aware of the fact that if we continue to spend money and lose students, sooner or later this is not going to work. So I would suggest that that's something that we all need to be concerned with. I think Janelle makes a good point. Having committees that are created by the administration maybe, but have parents and school board members and other stakeholders, teachers of course, would make a great deal of sense, and I think that's an excellent idea.
Okay, well, Janelle, you have 2 more minutes if you'd like.